Hello everyone, good day. My name is OKE, and I want to say thank you for being part of this channel. Remember last year we have a discussions on DIGITECH where we talk about how to grow your business. As at that time, that's 11th of December last year, we have a list of things that we are hoping and planning to learn, which one of them is video editing. We talk about 3D animations, how to grow yourself, and a lot of, as you can see on your screen here. And because of that, I make a promise that we'll be going live to take this class. So on that note, we'll be taking this class for probably a week, which just a stretch of 1 week. And to do that, we'll quickly kick off now. Sorry, we have a little bad audio yesterday, so we have to take this class. I'm very, very sorry for that. So not to waste much of our time, let's quickly kick off. Okay, so we'll be talking about editing any video with your smartphone like a pro. Now, our major plan here is to train you on how to edit videos like a pro. That's what the budget is all about, or the plan is all about from the beginning. But for the delay we have, we still probably throw more light on how can you have a good recording with your phone. So let's quickly kick off. My name is OKE once again. Now, this program was handled by two companies, SKE Academy and Loving World Technology. SKE Academy is an institution that deal with anything academic. We have Tech Talk coming up, which already kick off this year. Tech Talk 2 is just where we talk about technology, and we have Loving World. Loving World is just an anchor for all, where all the information is being gathered into one. So anything you want, just go to lovingworld.com. You should be able to get for hosting, web design, graphic design, just name it. Anything you are looking into technology, we can be of help to you. Thank you. Loving World, let me quickly throw a little bit light on Loving World. Loving World is split into two. We have the online and the offline. For the online classes, we have web design, online training like what I'm doing now, bulk SMS, ebooks, and the likes. And for the offline, we have graphic design, we have audio, we have photography, training on all aspects of computer. So when you are a young guy and you're looking for where to learn one of the best key, or you're looking for where to equip yourself for the future, or you're looking for where to get something to keep going, trust me, Loving World is one of the best places to look up to. You can check us. We are practically one way or the other within you, around your places. So feel free to check us, and we promise you that we'll give you the best at any time. So without wasting most of our time, let's go into today's business. Today we'll be talking about the introduction, so let's move on. Now, first thing we need to ask is, what is video editing? If we are here to talk about editing video, then we should understand what we want to do here first. So first, what is video editing? Well, in layman language, video editing is just the process of manipulating or rearranging a video shot to create a new work, which means everything we are doing here is how can we rearrange, manipulate a clip of videos we've taken before for us to be able to create another video. That's all. So I can create my baby dancing somewhere and gather all this picture, create his friend dancing somewhere, and then combine the two together and then form a video out. I can practically look for a video when I was in service here, maybe some videos I'm able to record it, maybe doing my service here, then maybe in camps and the like, and maybe doing the line in my service here, let's say 6 months down the line, when I know the town, I can play around, I can do a lot of things, I can look into that videos too. And doing that now, if I'm using that method now, which means I can easily combine both the two videos together, and that will give me a hedge on what I'm looking for. So what point am I trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is the essence of video editing is ability for you to be able to combine 2-3 clips together to form a new one, and that's just the basic line. So if you have, I think that is well explanative enough. So let's kick off. Now let's talk about the goal of editing. Now that we know that the essence of editing is for us to combine 2 or 3 clips together to form a new work or a new video, then what is the goal? What are we trying to achieve by combining 2 or 3 together, 2 or 3 videos together? One, to remove unwanted footage. Footage is just like image, videos that we have. Now, there are some times you go to an event, you record. During the record, you record the ground by mistake, or you record somebody mess up, you just record some things that you don't want to record, or maybe you are just discussing with your friend and somebody just utter a statement you practically don't want to have in your video. Now, editing gives you chance to be able to cut those video out and have the best section of the video you're interested in, allow you to choose the best footage. That's what I just explained. So hand in hand, you can actually select the best out of your footage. You can go to a place now, maybe a friend of yours is doing an outing and all of you went there and you started recording up and down. It gives you access to select the best moment you have, then creating a flow. For instance, now I used an example earlier in this course, that in this today, that if I'm a copper and probably I'm in let's say when I enter my service here, I in camp, I'm able to take 1 or 2 videos just to say, look at me. We don't enter. I think those are the the tradition most of us used to work with. So if I said I did that, then 6 months down the line, I started recording myself when I was in camp. For people in Gombe, they call it Bolari. Most states have their name. Now, if I want to do a series, let's say a cover book of my lifetime in service here, let's say I'm done with my service here now, I will need a video from my camp when I was in Mami Market, when I was in the hall. Then I will need a video immediately after camp. I will need a video doing my CDS, maybe 1 or 2 video. I will need a video doing outside work we did, maybe when we dance, or maybe when we have this party, sent for maybe a badge before my badge sent forth, and I'm able to be there now, do all these gisi. Then I will need a video after I'm finished, after I got my certificate. What did I do? How happy am I? And if I want to take it further, I can put a video when I carry my bus and said, home, sweet home, as General said. Now, my bottom line is, doing most of these things now, if I collect them, the truth is, it will be, if I don't create a good flow, people will easily know that there is a break in between. But when you do video editing, one of our major goals, or will I say one of our major assignments, is to be able to create a flow whereby those videos we are recording, are we together, or those videos you have collected can blend in, that people will not even know, or people will not, in their subconscious mind, they will not even remember that this picture was practically picking from different series and then combined together. I think that is clear enough. Then we have ability for us to be able to add effects. So you can actually add effects, graphics, music. So music is very sweet and good thing if you are dealing with editing. Why did I say music is a very good and sweet thing? Well, I'll quickly explain why I said that. If you are using if you capture an event, let's say I went to this place where hot and cold water was met. I think it's in Osun State. So I decided to take a shot there, and when I was there, I said, okay, let me take my time and record a video. So I take my time and record the video, the water dropping. If you don't have a good phone camera, a good phone audio, no matter the record you have, the sound will not give you that effect you are looking for. That's one. 2, that same example can be used for slow motion, which I'll talk about that later. But do you know that you can just go online, which we'll talk about later, and download some beats, very nice, good beat on waterfalling. Just search Google waterfall, and once you get your video into the editing, which we are still going to that before the end of this explanation, this section, this 1 week, then you can carry the audio and put it under, then mute your own audio. You'll be so amazing. You'll be so amazed the results you have. Another thing is, if you can put some additional graphics on your design, probably maybe you remove your background and use another background and the likes. So we'll talk more about that. Let's quickly go through this before we launch into the practical section and probably call the whole thing. Then you can actually add some motions and module to it. Another important thing, or another major goal of editing, is for you to make it, to allow your video to have a practical angle. Practical angle is one of the main reasons where most of us go into this. Let me quickly explain what that means. If you take a shot, like for example, I talk about the waterfall. During the process of waterfall, if you want the viewer to have a let me say a broad view of the waterfall. You want them to feel the water. When you are recording it, you won't see any serious water is just dropping, but just apply slow motion. If you apply slow motion to that water draw, or probably maybe before the end of the section, once we have our time, I will do a practical of me dropping water from my regular mug here to a cup, then we convert it to slow motion. Now you'll be so surprised that people will connect the dropping of the water just because you apply a slow motion effect. We'll try and play around with some of these things if time permits us. So that's just it. People feel the practical aspect of the video. Just like another example is a video of slap. Somebody you want to do slap in movie, you know these days now you don't actually slap the face, you slap the person's hand. That's some of the trick. But my point is, the slap is not actually sanding, but you can add an effect that if you slap, they will think you slap the person for real. Like the beat will amplify your action to the extent that people will look at me, quiet. You can't beat a lady like that now. Especially if you see one huge guy and just see one young, small lady, or one kid, and hold him a slap, probably you may not, in the techniques behind it, you don't actually slap the person, you slap the second hand and the person bends down as if he received the slap. But the sand of the hand is not enough. So when you get some sand, apply it to that, you'll be so surprised that it will sound so real. Like even you that you are watching will start holding your head that, this is hot slap. So, and that's just it. We want to create that practical mode whereby people connect to what is happening. And that's the essence of editing. If you can't achieve that in your editing, then there is no any point going into editing whatsoever. Okay, let's quickly continue. So, now that has been said, so let's talk about shooting a video with a smartphone. Now, you all know that when you come to DIGITECH, we focus mainly more on video. We focus more on using smartphone. DIGITECH, we don't use any other thing apart from smartphone. That's one of the major things that make him stand out or different from TikTok. Like the key things that make him different from TikTok. So now we want to talk about how to take your shot. So how can you do a good job and make a great video? So that's what we'll be talking on, and remember we are focusing on mobile phone. Okay? You can shoot and high quality videos that's ready to edit and upload to your website, YouTube, using your smartphone camera. But if you just pull it out of your pocket and then click record, there are more chances that you won't get the results you are looking for. So trust me, in this 21st century now, I can guarantee you that you can actually use your phone to take a nice shot. I can even show you some of the videos we did online that we did some interviews, some real life video that is just a normal middle range phones that we use. But it's not about just carrying your phone, picking it from your pocket and carry and say, yes, now me too, I have phone. Let me just carry my phone, and then you just pick one phone. Oh yeah, and you start recording, go to video, and you start filming everywhere. It's not about doing that. It's going far beyond doing that. And that's what we are here for. So now there are quick tips. That probably will quickly explain to you now before you get started using your phone camera. So some of these suggestions may be applied for both iPhone and Android user. So don't worry, I will do most of the practical on Android user, on Android phone, but I believe you can do the same thing on the iPhone. But if along the line, if anybody have issue, we have both gadgets in-house here, and I promise you, just drop your comments, and we'll try as much as possible to make sure that we give you the best as the class unfolds. Now, let's go talk about the tips. The first tips I will talk about here is don't shoot vertical video. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, why is it? Like, the truth of the matter is because of the lack of TikTok, Instagram, these are the only two platforms I think vertical videos still have a little bit chance. But if you are working on most other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, your website, just name it, you discover that most of them are landscape. Why? Because the gadget we use, people will watch it on, which is just like your laptop, your sorry, which is just like your laptops, your TVs, those gadgets you used to and you used to use. You agree with me that 85% of those gadgets are in landscape. So because of that, it's more advisable you record landscape just like this. Like this is not a good option. Are we together? Like this is not a good option. Like this is the best option. So practical section, like this is the best option. Like this is not a good option. So in some cases, I'm not saying you can't use it. It depends on the technique you are using. So I'm not saying no. What I'm suggesting is that when you are doing most of your work, try as much as possible to use landscape because you can use it on most of the design or most of the output. I think that is clear enough. And that's the essence of the example I give here. And that's what I'm trying to say here. Altogether, that's what I'm trying to say here. So in most cases, try not to use this. In most cases, especially for your production. Okay. Now, another thing you should consider is using a tripod. Now, tripod is very, very good things to use. Why? Because they create stability. You can get gimbal. I don't have gimbal in the house here, but you can just search for phone gimbal. That one keeps stability of your recording. So my suggestion is I will advise you to get a tripod because tripod will give you one of the best things you may ever hope for. As a matter of fact, it's the best you can ever hope for. It's the best you can ever hope for. Because if you are using gimbal, if you are using tripod, it gives you stability of your work. So you don't need to be struggle whether your portrait will shake or something. So there are different type of tripod. They have, maybe I should quickly show us some few. Some is already here. We have the tall one that you can use. There is one long one that you can use. Then we have the short one that you can actually go through. So probably I will show you some of them. Maybe, okay, let me just show you some. Then there is, let me pick the small one. So there is long one that you can use. There is shorter one. Let me quickly show us some, so that from there we can have a clue of what I'm talking about. Okay, see, these are some of the tripods. See, this is a table tripod. Now this is simple. All you need to do is just mark this on top. You can mark this like this. You can rotate this front and back. You can pull it. Are we together? I'm not squealing it. So, and we have, most of us know this. So this is more of, let me see if I can just hang a phone on this. So you can adjust it just a little and note it. Then you can put your this thing here. This is for this is not for iPhone. This is mainly for and you see. So you can make this long. It's as long as you can. So I think you got this. So with this now, if I hang an Android phone on it, I can actually use this button to take a shot. I can adjust this edge so that these lines will not show, and this will help me to be able to have a good capture. And remember, there is stability for me. All together. So there is a lot of them like that. So we have this, and we have something like this. You see, we have something like this. So you can use this, you can rearrange it. It's a very long, I don't want to lose his leg. So maybe at the end of the class, I will try as much as possible to arrange this on the floor for us, and then we'll be able to, probably we'll try and do that. But let's quickly continue. My bottom line is you need something like this for stability. It helps you to not to allow your phone to shake or your footage to shake at the long run. Okay, now you see this one, I just show us this one. We have this in the house. This one is the one I just show us. No. This one I circle here is the same thing. This is it here. Let me just quickly show that. This is it here. You can fold the leg. Now you can use it as stable tripod. You can use it for motion. We have like 2 of it in the house. All together, then you just need to attach your head here, and you are good to go. I can fold it to my hand. Let's say I'm doing a serious motion. I can come here now. It's just like normal hand, and tie it more. So now I can use this. You can fold it. For some of you still short footage they take on bike. This is one of the best things you can use. If you roll this on the edge of your bike, you note it back. It captures everything you are doing when you are on bike. So that's that about that. Let's quickly continue. So okay. Then another thing you should consider is try as much as possible not to zoom. Now, why is the essence of don't zoom? Well, the essence of don't zoom is the more you zoom, the more pixels you use. Let me quickly explain. Now you can read what is behind the scene, but let me quickly explain what zoom in mobile phone replies. Officially, though there are a lot of mobile phone now that are complete camera frame, which come up this 2020. So camera, phone camera is going wide now. You can use phone camera and put normal camera lens on it. So that gives us a edge and probably go a long way. But let me explain why I said you should not zoom your camera when you are doing video. By default, the system camera is not designed to zoom. You are not actually zooming the system because there is no physical lens on your camera. You are only expanding the pixel. Now, I don't want to go into explanation of the system pixel, camera pixel, and take a long time. That's a long story, but I will break it down in layman language. The more the picture you take when you zoom, you discover that the more you zoom, the more the thing got blown. It got blown because you are not actually zooming. You are not actually zooming the image out. If I go to this camera now and I start zooming, you agree that no matter how I zoom this image, the more I zoomed into my hand, the more it gets blurred. And you discover that we won't be able to see the image very clearly. Now, in real sense, we are not actually zooming the object. We are just enlarging it. So the more you start enlarging, the more pixel you lost. Just like you snap a picture and you start zooming it out. So even if you don't zoom the video, if you get to editing and you start editing from the edge, it's just like you zooming the image. So now there's a lot of phones that are getting too more focus, like the one I'm using here, but a lot of middle range phones may not have the features. Very few middle range phones have it. But my bottom line is avoid zooming your camera. It's better you move closer to the object you want to shoot and use. Let me see if I can use a back camera to do a clear examination example. Now look at this. This is a power bank and there is a tripod length at the back. Let's say I try to zoom to this power bank. Do you see what happened? Now I have a very good camera lens. So even despite the fact that I zoom, you see that the object is still a bit clear, but let me move it clearer. Do you see that even here that I'm zoomed up to 99,999, you see that the whole thing got blown. We can't see the image anymore. I don't know if you get it. We can't see the image anymore because I've zoomed in so much and the pixel is blurred. You can't even identify what is here. But the more I zoom back, the more I get the image back. But just imagine I leave it here. You see that we have the best quality of the image. And that's exactly what I'm trying to explain. And that's exactly what we have on the image here. So look at the first image here. When it's at 0, just like what I show now, it's fine. When it's at 5%, you know, some cameras 5% will still be sharp, and when it's at 20%. So this 20% I just say at 100% of mine. So there's some camera that 20% they are gone. But I think mine can still take you up to 50%, I will say 60%, and you still have a good shot. But in most cases, just be careful of the gadget you have, test it over and over, try to avoid zooming. That's the bottom line. Try as much as possible to avoid zooming. Are we together? Okay, let's continue. Then the next thing we'll be talking about is lighting. Now, there's a built-in camera flash on the smartphone, which will never practically you can never use it to achieve anything, or we will never give you the type of light you are looking for. So in most cases, if you want to have a good light, then you have to use a natural light or you get a ring light. Most phones have a camera, a flash. But most of us will agree with me that when you carry your phone in the dark and you want to snap with that flashlight, it won't give you the result you want. So in most cases, for you to get the best result, it's better you use normal daylight, which is sun. Now, there is a lot of techniques. Look at this image I have here. Are we together? Now, look at this woman here. Yeah, look at this woman. Now, the image, you see that it's a little bit dark because there's no reflection. What's the essence of reflection? Reflection is, there is this reflector, they say. The reflector looks like a cloth. If it's around 10,000 upward for normal camera. If you can't buy it, just get a normal cardboard, white cardboard. If you are taking a shot in a place whereby the sun is not directly, the person is not directly facing the sun, like the camera is not backing the sun, let me put it that way. Officially, the camera is supposed to back the sun, then the object faces the sun. But in the situation whereby the option is at side of the sun, you can use the reflection to reflect back the light to the face. If you are using a daylight camera, light. And mind you, when we talk about some of the pro settings in your camera, which we'll talk about that the next class, then you will have understanding on how you can manipulate your speed light, the aperture, and the shutter speed. So we'll talk more about how to do that on your mobile phone, even if you are using a very low range phone. But for now, two things you need to do to have a good light is for you to find a way of using the normal natural light, which is sunlight, or you use a ring light. I will quickly show us the picture of a ring light, and maybe before the end of the class, I will show how to set up a ring light for some of us that may not know how to do that. Now, I think that is clear enough. So let me quickly try and show us the picture, how ring lights look like. Like in the house here now, there are two ring lights. Let me see if I can just put them out. First, this is a ring light here that shows what we are using here. Then let me go back to the front camera. There is another ring light on the table here. This is another ring light. So this is 12-inch. And this is the ring light stand. So if time permits us today, I will set up this. This is as tall as anything if you stand it from ground. So we will talk more on this later as times permit us. So but apparently you need a ring light if you want to have a good footage. So let's quickly move on. Now I make this example clearly here. Now this is what I just explained the other time when you are trying to use a daylight. If you have a poor lighting, trust me, you may not get the best you are looking for. Now, one of the poor lighting is to stay in front of the window. You discover that the light will hit you directly. So when you are doing the shoot, you just look like a blackie, like if you are shooting the black and white picture or image. But in most cases, you can actually use a reflector to reflect the light towards the object from where the reflection of the light is, and that will give you a reflector. You can use normal cardboard if you can't go for a normal reflector. I don't have any reflector in the house today. I will have shown you, but it's just like one circle. If you have seen any photographer, standard photographer, they used to carry one. There is one big circle like this. The thing look like a ball. That's what they use majorly, and that's how it looked like. Okay. Now let's talk about using of exposure lock. You see this section we are going into now is very, very important. Now I will try my best to explain it, then I will try and show it in practical. I don't know if I should do that now. If you are using a camera exposure, by default when you are using your phone automatically swap the focus because it's on auto, so that you can get the best shot. But little do we know that the technique behind it is for him to get a pixel as sharp as possible. But for you that you are going into photographics, it's not good enough, because you discover that if you are on a single layer like this, immediately you do something and move, the autofocus will automatically readjust the image just to fit into what you are going to. So each time, now if you are using like what I'm using now, which you face the camera, if you have a good phone, autofocus is the best. Why? Because you are on a close range, and there is high tendency that there won't be any serious movement apart from your hand. Like your body you will not actually have an actual movement, and you have a close range. But in a situation whereby you are taking a wide angle, whereby you are maybe staying behind the bush, you have a different layer behind you. If you use it Any small moving from the person to move from one edge to another, or swapping the camera, pan the camera from one side to another, will change in the sequence. So if you have your phone now and you are taking this class, just carry your phone, zoom and record your room all around. You will agree with me that as you are recording that room, the video will go light somewhere, will go dark somewhere, will go light somewhere, will go dark somewhere, which means you are not having a complete frame. So the picture quality layers are different from each other, and that's what exposure is all about. So the best thing we need to do in a situation like that is to find a way to lock our exposure. Now, to do it these days for most mobile phone is not something hard. You can just tap on your screen and it will give you an object to zoom in and zoom out. I'm not using my main camera today on this phone because I'm doing a lot with it, but I can still quickly show us how to do that. Okay, let me try if I can use the camera I'm using presently, and then we move on. Now this is the main camera I'm using here. Here now I can come to this. We'll still come and explain these tools, but let me just explain the brief of what I'm saying. If the way I am now, if I decide to pan around, I'm using a close range, so you may not see it, but there is a way I can just come here, adjust my aperture. Now look at the color quality of my image now. The same camera, the same phone, but because I'm using manual now, I reduce this a little, and you see I have a very sharp image, and I can just lock it here. Now that I lock it now, no matter what I'm doing on this video, I will have this picture all around. Now I will come and explain more on this on our next class. We'll talk about these softwares and some other softwares on our next class. So, but just have the clue of what I'm trying to say. That it's not something special. You can do it from your mobile phone. Okay? So let's go back to our slide. So these are some of the English. So the phones keep adjusting himself and refocus. So that's what I just explained now. So that's why it's recommended for us to use an exposure and lock it. So it's better for us to use, instead of using automatic, turn it to manual and lock it down. That's what I did now. Another thing you should consider is getting a mic closer to the object. Now, anytime you are doing a video recording, no matter how wide and short your camera is, your video recording is, please try as much as possible to make sure you get a camera close to you where your object is. It's very, very important. Make sure you have a camera close to where your object is. I can guarantee you it's very, very essential. Why is it essential? Because your object, the object you are using at the moment, you need to take the sand of the object. If you do a very good production and there is no sand there, we have the mistakes just yesterday. You will just do that, you are wasting your time. How do you get your sound? It's simple. Like here in the studio now, I'm using this mic. And probably I'll be having the clear audio sound, audio output. But let's say you are doing a wide range. There's a lot of mic for mobile phone now. Very cheap, some are expensive. I think from 2,000, 3,000 naira to probably 150,000. So you can go for your range. If you are using the normal cord, plug and play cord, it should be around 2,000 to 10,000 or 15,000. If you are using the wireless, it's very common these days. You can buy the 2-1, you can buy the one for Type-C, the normal port, and the Android phone. And they come with a wireless mic, and it's very, very good. I don't have any in the house, in the office now. I would have loved to show us. But that one is wireless. You can cover, I think, 5 meters or 10 meters or thereabout, which means you can just put your tape here, plug it on your charging point, and you are good to go. So now, if you are using your camera, the person can just have it on tape on his clothes, and then plug it on the charging point, and you are good to go. If the person is close range like me, you can use something like this. They are the one that are very long. There is even the one that are split into 3 if you are doing interview for people and the likes. But the bottom line is don't play with your audio. Try as much as possible to get gadgets for your audio. It's very, very essential. Very, very essential. I don't know any other English I can use. So make sure you do that. So that's what I just explained. And when shooting an Android on mobile phone, it is possible for you to have a second Android phone. And another thing you can do is you can get 2 Android phones. Now there is a software which we'll go into that lately, whereby you install on the first one, you install on the second one. So the first one will be there. That's why when you see some people, they will just put so that one is receiving and is sending it wirelessly to the second, to the main one that is recording, so that the audio will be clearer. But if you are using that, there is high tendency you will have noise, especially if it is a noisy environment. So if you want to stay home by you won't have noise, buy the gadget. So that's just my view. Then we have so now I've talked about this. Make sure you get your mic closer to your object. So now another way is opportunity is to use an external microphone. I've talked about this. You can actually plug in. So this is what I just explained a few minutes. Now the tip. One of the tip is this. Before you start recording, try and clap once. Now the reason is so that you will know that your sound is working, your audio is working, everything is working fine. So when you are doing your recording, when you are doing your live streaming, try as much as possible to test run it. You can just do clap once and see is the audio communicating, are you good to go? And if that is working for you, then you don't need to stress yourself, you are good to go. So please make sure you have audio before you go into any production. Your audio is even more important than your pictures, because if you have a good picture, you may desire to put a picture over. You can get a picture of the event, align it, and go live. I don't know if we get it. Another thing you can use is this clip-on lens for the wide angle shot. Now, clip-on lens is not that important or necessary, but let me quickly explain why it's not important. If you go for an event, let's say you went for a party, let's say you went for a party, let's say a wedding party, and your friend is the one in charge of the ashwebi and all the taking and take away. You can actually say, okay, let's take group picture. No, it's very, very common. Somebody is doing naming, somebody is doing wedding. I know most of the, especially wedding, they won't use, they may not agree even to use mobile phone, but if you are doing a naming, there's a lot of people that record most of their work on mobile phone. Now, if you are doing naming, let me use that as an example. What do you need to do? During the process, or maybe you went for a small gathering, and then, there are sure need for you to do something. If you are taking a group picture, large number of people, you discover even on the normal standard camera, that's the essence of us putting lens. So then we'll talk about the settings of everything you can do on normal camera, you can do it on your mobile phone. The settings and the lights, just that you may not have the same result, and I will tell you why. And they have even unlocked that now if you have your cache, which I will explain that lately. Now, if you carry your phone and you want to snap people, most of us will carry the phone and then you just put it on landscape. But you discover sometimes when you put your phone on landscape, the number of people are too long than your screen. You will now be going back. The more you go back, the more the image looks tiny. And if you zoom the image, you will cut some people. Are we together? So how can you fix that? So that's what this is all about. That's what the clip is all about. So with this clip-on lens now, you just attach it at the back of the lens of your camera. They are not that expensive, and that will allow you to cover wide range. So with that, you can cover a lot of people at the same time and take the shot. So that will help you to record people in a group at the same time, whether for video or for picture. I just use picture because I think we will get that one more clearer. I think that is good enough. Okay. Another thing we'll talk about is slow motion. I think I've explained more about slow motion today, but slow motion is very, very good effect to consider when you are doing your design. Now, slow motion will be most phones come built in with slow motion features, and there are third-party applications that we use, but I think most average range phone come with slow motion built in, which we will try as much as possible to see how we can look into it. But if you are using slow motion, let me just give you a tip. Use slow motion on something that is fast. Are we together? Then don't use slow motion when something is normal. For example, now if I'm working on my system, for instance, let's say I come on my system and I start typing. I will have picked a system here and do a good practical on it. Give me that mini system. Yes, just remove the charger and give me. Let me do a brief practical on it. Okay. So let's say I pick this mini system. If I start the system, let's say I just pick this mini system altogether. If I'm working on this system, no matter how I record, if I put slow motion, I will not get the good result I'm looking for. Why? Because you see on this system, the position I'm working on is static. I'm able to show you what I'm interested in. The position I'm working on is static. So because of that, you will not get the result I'm hoping for. But just assume I'm doing waterfall. I don't know if I still have water in my bottle. You can even record this now. Okay, let me see if I can't. If I do this now, you'll be able to get my feed. So imagine now, just when you have time in the house, come like this, just record dropping water like this. After you've done that, just apply that dropping of water. Just apply slow motion on it. I promise you, you will love slow motion that you will not even want to do any other thing than slow motion. Because anything that is fast, like sewing machine, if somebody is using this sewing machine, sewing machine is very fast, extremely fast. So they are doing a design on sewing machine. Maybe they are putting design on clothes, all this ready-made design, or they are building a design on clothes. Record it, apply slow motion. Sewing machine is fast by default. Applying slow motion on it gives you the best results you can look for. So there is a lot of places you can use it. I'm just giving you some of the instance, the rule behind it. So slow motion is one of the best things you should consider using. It gives you one of the great work at the long run. You can make sure you use slow motion when you are dealing with a fast object. On slow, if you are using on a normal range object, you will not get the best output results you are hoping for. Okay. Now, another thing we'll talk about is the rule of third. Now, the rule of third is just having a 8 line on your phone, whereby you can use to guide yourself taking shots. So let me see if I can use this camera to explain that in long shot. I'm not using my direct phone camera, but if you are using your phone camera, you will have an option like that. If I shot to my phone camera, it will turn this upside down, which I don't want to do for now. So probably I will come back to and explain more about the rule of third. But this is just the basic thing. Some phone we call it guideline. I should even have it here. Some will call it guideline. Some will call it. Okay, this is guideline. Let me click on it. Now, I've on the 3x3, which is the common one, that is 9. There are more than that. There is 3x3 pixel, there is 3x4, but I will come back to this because we have radius, we have angle target. We'll come and explain this. Let me just start from the normal one. This is 3x3, so let's go back. Here is the angle. Now, when you are using this, major thing is to make sure that you make your object balance. But most time, there is an effect we used to create by allowing the first line to go through your eye. Like, look at the position I am now. I can just take a shot. Even if I did not check the shot, trust me, this shot will be very nice. If I click here now, view these all shots, do you see? Do you see that I don't have plenty empty space around the object? The object is not too straight because I'm talking. But I don't have plenty talk around the object. So that's just the rule of third. It guides you on how to take your video recording before you start recording. Are we together? So, and that's just the basic thing on it. You can just have the rule of third. So these are just the English section of it. You're just creating a referral point, just a referral guideline where you can refer to, so that you know that your object is center and you have a good shot, no plenty space on the head and the like. So it will help you have a good flow. So you can use the occasion of 1/3 or 2/3. So it just depends on you. So I think this is clear enough. Okay. Now most people's shots, their main lines intervally with going through the eye. That's what I explained now. So most people try to make sure that their first line, the 1/3, that's the first line, go through the person's eye, so that they have a clean shot on it and there won't be too much empty space, empty frame on it. So, but there is not any law. It just depends on you. So any shot you want to take, depend on you. Anything is possible, but that will give you a good shot. So if you are using the shot of the 1/3, which means the image will take 1/3 of the frame. So you have a close range image that will give you a best shot. So this can be anything. So if you are taking a weather shot, anything you are taking, you have a good range shot. That's just the bottom line. Probably we'll try and do some of this as long. Then the 10 things we're talking about is editing on computer or system. Now, I know there is a lot of argument, disagreement on this system edit and phone editing. Please, let me hold this. So now, please, I know there is a lot of discussion on, should we use phone editing? Should we use system editing? Please, I will say it and say it again. You cannot, there's a lot of editing work you cannot do with your mobile phone. Just accept. I've been using both system and mobile phone for a few years now, and by God's grace, I think I use both very well. And I can boldly tell you, based on my year of experience, that there is a lot of shots you can't do on mobile phone, or you stress yourself too much on mobile phone, which you can easily do it easy PC on system. But mind you, there is a lot of things you can do on phone these days that we that use system is the prayer point to achieve them. Like you have to go into deep professional stage to do it. If some of us follow us on TikTok, there are some short videos we did towards the end of TikTok on how to create some short video. If you try to reproduce that using After Effects, you will do a lot of work. If you are trying Premiere Pro, you do a lot of work, but it's not that you can't do them. So, but there are a lot of layers we can do on system that phones may not give you the results. But mind you, I'm not here to do any competition about using phone or using system. Just know at the back of your point that any of them you use will give you the results you are looking for. So, but here we are focusing on mobile phone, and I promise you can have a very good output using your mobile phone. Are we together? Okay. So there are some pretty cool editing application files for both iPhone and Android, but you still don't do the best editing on your computer. If I've explained this, you do your best editing on your computer. When you finish your shots, plug your phones in and then upload the footage that you're using your system. But if you are not using system, which you are not focusing on system here, just after you finish your shots, go to your phone and then start editing, which we'll talk more about the editing section on this course before the end of this course. Now, film a professional video with your phone. How can you film a professional video with your smartphone? Now, you just need three things. One, you need your phone, you need your tripod, you need your phone holder, and you need your mic. Okay, let me show us those three things for some of us that may not remember this long English. What do you need? Your phone, your tripod stand, either short one or long one, your mic, all together, your phone holder. They are this type and they are this type, and I think these are the two major types, but there are still many types, I think. So this is your phone holder to hold the phone. Your tripod, your phone holder, stay on top of your tripod. Your tripod can be short or long, and you can use this. This tool is just like the phone holder is already built into the hand tripod, and there is a lot of them are plenty online there. So I think that is clear enough. Then if you have bad light, then you need the ring light. Officially, if you are shooting your day work on then you need mic. So mic, let me show you. Mic, you need mic, something like this. And there are a lot of mics you can get cheaper. Just make sure you get a good one so that you have a good quality audio. Okay, now film a professional video with an iPhone, an Android phone, or an Android phone. Preparing your content. Now make sure you film your work with either your iPhone or your your Android phone, your good phone. Then prepare your content. Before you start filming, make sure you prepare your content for filming. Now, make it easier. Some of us don't used to do content. Like me, I'm not the type that do plenty of content. Few people around me know that once video comes, you just enter studio. Since if it is something I've taken for more than 3, 5, 10 years, then I don't think I need content. But mind you, please, that's a very, very wrong approach. Sometimes it used to dawn on me too. But sometimes you just, you get the beauty. You get the beauty of of it because you are saying something you have practiced, not something you read. But if you are the type that want to go into Instagram, comedians or street writer and the likes, please, you have to prepare your script, write it in blue and black. Then 2, select a suitable location. Suitable location does not actually mean when you are doing drama. Suitable location sometimes is referring to you getting a place you won't get a disturbance. For example, now if I'm to take a record in the house, I won't have a good record because my boy will be disturbed. That I can guarantee. But if I come to the office, I have a good atmosphere to record. During the process of that recording, I don't have any disturbance, except I create one for myself. And once I enter studios, if anybody come to the office, you can't have access to me. You have to stay at the reception until we are done with the recording. So in that case now, you have a clean recording and you won't have any disturbance. So location is all about getting a place you can get your production out there. So it's not necessary for you to go out. It's not necessary for you to go and look for somebody else. It depends on the type of output. If you are just doing, maybe you are doing Ewi in Yoruba, proverb reading in Yoruba, and you just think something like what I'm doing now. But if you are in an environment whereby maybe you are a married person or you are staying with a roommate that is loudy, like to play big music, it will not be a good environment for you. Or maybe where you have bad lighting. You can just look for maybe a school or maybe an open space in the afternoon, a little bit dark inside that you can just go in, set up your distance and fire on. So you have the benefit of having a good sound because there won't be any noise there. You are using daylight, you don't need ring light. Then we talk about some of those things. So that's just it. I hope we are communicating all together. Okay. So let's continue. So then you need your tripod. I've shown us tripod. You need to enable flight mode. Now, what's the essence of using flight mode on your phone? The essence of using flight mode is this, so that there won't be any incoming calls, especially when you are using the same phone for your live streaming, for your video, for your receiving call, for your calls. So it's better you put it on flight mode so that there won't be any incoming call or text message or email that will distract you or make you start your production all over. So try as much as well to enable flight mode. If you don't want to enable flight mode, have a different phone for your call, for your receiving call. That's what I did. So you can do that too. But if you are not able to do that, just put your phone in flight mode for that period. Then, so mount your phone on tripod, and then you are good to go. Now, some of the things you still do to clean the lens of your camera. Now, most of the time, most of us make this mistake. I've done the mistake times without number. I think I even do the same thing today. Once you want to start recording, make sure you carry your phone. Clean the lens. You can get wipes, these baby wipes. I think there is a smaller pack for 500 naira, or you buy the bigger one, 1,000 naira. You can use that wipe to clean the lens of your camera. Most time there is dust here, or the camera lens here, there is dust. So the dust may affect the output of your work. The same thing applies to most Android phone. I think there is one here. So make sure you clean your camera, either front, clean it from the front and from the back. If you don't do that, sometimes it may affect the production because there will be dust on the footage, on your recording. So it won't give you the clear picture you are hoping for. So it's very, very important. Very, very, very important. Anytime you want to go into production, please try and do that. So wire up your mic, set up your phones for recording, then frame the shot. Set up your exposure to manual. I think I explained that today. That is, make sure your exposure is in manual, but I will try and put more explanation on it later, before the end of this. Then do a test run. Test run is very, very important. Once you do the whole thing, test run the whole thing, just do 5 seconds or 1 minute of what you want to do. But please, when you are doing your test run, don't make mistake. I'm putting more into most of this thing. When you are doing your test run, don't make mistake. Why did I say don't make mistake? Most of the time when you are doing your test run, you put all your phone system together. But immediately you do the test run and play it, especially if you are still using your play out with your you are using the same port that you use your earpiece for your input for your audio, which is when you want to play your audio, it won't play. So you want to remove it back and listen to the audio. In most cases, when you do that, if you are not careful, if you don't plug that audio back, you are doing the zero work. You just come from morning, do all the production. In the night like this, you are going back to second day, if it's a full day production. But my advice is this. If you want to do something like that, you're using your mobile, get this Bluetooth speaker. The one we have is not in the office yet. I think I dropped it in the house. Get the Bluetooth speaker. Connect it to Bluetooth. So once you are done with your production, your test run, play it to play on the Bluetooth. So you hear the sound. Oh, this sound is good. Yes. You can hold the Bluetooth speaker and continue your work. But please try as much as possible not to make such mistakes. It's a very costly mistakes. So I've seen a lot of people doing that because the test run will be good, but the real work is nonsense. Then start your recording. Now, I think this is where we'll stop today. The next thing we're talking about is some videos editing, video editing application. These are some of the list of video editing applications. We'll try as much as possible to look into most of this, but we'll be stopping here today, and I think we'll kick off from there tomorrow by God's grace. So please today, before tomorrow, try as much as possible to record the video of yourself. Do a short video for yourself. You can just talk to yourself, talk to camera, do a little rehearsal. There's nothing serious. I can just come to my camera now and just say something. I can come here now and say, let me just do an invitation, invite you guys today. I can just swap to video recording. You see what happened? The settings scattered. So I can come here now, increase my opacity, exposure, all together. So I can increase my exposure for the video. So I will talk more about these settings completely, probably when next we come online, before we go into video editing and the likes. Okay, we'll come to this later. So now let me just use this exposure. Okay, so make sure you have a good setting. So I will still come back and explain more of this setting. So I can just do something like this. I can click on record. I can just stop my recording, and you see it go blank back. I've locked this, so let me just swap back to my camera, and then I can just quickly work a little bit on my exposure and lock it back, and then we are good to go. So now you see, now I've recorded a short video. I can come back here. I can't play the video now because the speaker is not here, but maybe tomorrow we just start using this, play around with it and do one or two things on it. So I think with this we can actually trying to cut this a day. These are some of the things we'll be focusing throughout the training. We talk about video editing. These are the things, we are just doing a recap for last year. So these are the things we'll focus mainly on by tomorrow. So before we do this, there are some, I don't think, for some of us that don't know how to set up ring lights, is there any need for that? Okay, let's try as much as possible to see if we can set up the ring light for us, and just for us to see. There is no any special thing in them. Okay, let me, okay, 1 minute. Okay, let me quickly show us on how to do that. So, this is the ring light stand. There is nothing special. Just open the stand. All together. Okay, don't worry. Let me move this back. You can make it more down. I pick this down, so make sure this is well not. Sorry, this space is a bit tiny, and I just want to show us. So then I can use this one, drag this up, and then knot this. Now I can drag the next layer, but before that, let me long this. In most cases, you have this separated. Let me lose it back, and you have this. This is your phone holder. If you are using light only, if you are using just the light, you don't need this. This is where you can put your phone. But if you are putting it, you have something like this, and something like this. So you put this here, you put this here, then you come here and knot this down. Then there are different layers on how to use this. This type of, some of them have screw, some of them have clip, like this one have clip. So I can come here, knot this. Then this will come separate. This is just a cover. This will come separate. It's not part of the stand. It's part of the, I want to lose it so that it's not losing because there's another layer here. Okay. Then I have to lose this. Then I come up here. Sorry, then I just want us to see how it's. The thing don't want to come out. But there is a small edge. You see this edge is loosed officially. So you have to tie it off. Then let me bring this down a little. Then you mount your lights on this. Then you mount your light on this. As soon as I remove this thing, I will have knot it before mount this one on it. Okay, so I'm done. Now you see that this is done. I've not this, but it's not stable. It's not stable because I've not knocked the holder. So now I've knocked the holder. Like all I need to now, this needs a source of power. This source of power can be from a laptop. It can be from a power bank. Okay, let me use a laptop here. So you just get a source. That's all. Now this one is 12-inch, the one we are using now. Now I've connected it to a laptop. You see that this brought light. Now if I on this, you see this is the light. Now you can reduce the light. You can increase the light. You can change the lights. I think most of them used to have like 3 lights. And you discover that if I use this for plus what we are using for recording before, it will brighten this side more. Do you see now that I'm having a different reflect on the certain place? Sorry, the place is a bit scattered. But do you get the idea? So we can have a good shot here. And I can decide to adjust this a little and bring this down. And if I want this thing to be taller, I can just lose this. But I won't be able to go higher because of the connector. Do you see? It can go as long as this. It's long, but I can't do that because of where I connected. So let me bring it down a little and knot it down. So, and for some of you, this is how you are doing production for yourself. This come with most of your gadgets. It allows you to take shots from afar from your phone if it is properly connected. Probably we'll do practical on this too. So I think I'm able to do. Then we talk about. I talk about the other stand. Okay, 1 minute. Now this is the other stand I'm talking about the other time. Pressure in it. Anyway. Okay, don't let me open completely it on the table. Now there are some that are slow. So I'm only showing open few layers. I'm planning to put. But if I'm not, I will have opened the complete layer. And lose the. You see now, it's because I want to put it on the table. Then I can lose this now, and I can put a holder. Where's one of the holder? Okay, there is one here. Phone holder. I can lose this. I hope my explanation is clear enough, and I can lose this. So now I can pick a phone. Sorry. Let's say I'm using this phone. And I can just mount it here, go to my camera, not this way. I think you can see the ring light. Now you see, I'm focusing on the second ring light. I'm just playing around. But at least you understand. Now I can zoom in here. So it's as simple as ABC. So, but I think you get it. Thank you very much. It's a prayer having you around. So I hope to see you for next class tomorrow. So we are going fully practical on the software editing. See you. Thank you. God bless you. Till we see again. My name is Okunola Bolaji. And I'm happy to be your host for today. Thank you very much for being my list, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.